All right, what's up, fellas? Ladies and gentlemen, let's get it. Wake up. Let's get our minds right because we're freezing our ass off already in Chicago. 6 degrees tonight. I'm not cut out. I don't know who's cut out for this. It's only December. It's going to be a long winter here, but luckily we got Stella Blue coffee this morning to wake us up, get our freaking minds right, and we're still going to have a hell of a day no matter how cold it is outside. Wake Up Mintzy, presented by Dude Wipes on this Wednesday. Joined as always by Tyler Moody from Louisiana. A lot of stuff to get into today, and we're excited to be here. We got some fun stuff as always at Barstool. Last night, the 4th episode of Surviving aired. Great stuff as always. Tonight, number 5. Getting huge feedback. It's the number 1 show on the internet, so check out Surviving Barstool if you have not yet. And that's all I have to say about that. Jerry After Dark, tearing it up last night. Jerry threw over 1,000 pitches trying to complete 4 immaculate innings. Unfortunately fell just short. It's the first of the season 2 of Jerry After Dark, but shout out Jerry. I can't even imagine how his arm feels today after freaking 1,000 pitches. Jeez, man. I mean, literally can't even imagine. Dude Wipes, as always, sponsor Wake Up Mintzy, clean up all messes. Amazon, Target, Walmart, all over the World Wide Webs. Check out their holiday products. One use of Dude Wipes will change your life. That much I can guarantee. All right, bunch of stuff going on in the football world as usual. The transfer portal just going crazy. And Lane Kiffin had an interesting rant yesterday just talking about how the system is kind of broken right now. And I kind of agree with him. Like, they can't be having this transfer portal stuff before postseason and bowl games. I mean, you're seeing people get in the portal that are on teams that play in playoff games. How the hell does that make sense? And, a lot of opt-outs for bowl games. I will say more people are kind of playing maybe than I expected. But I just can't imagine, what these coaches are dealing with. You just had National Signing Day last week. You're dealing with the portal. You're getting ready for postseason. It just seems like there's got to be a fix. I'm not totally sure what it is, but I will say it's tough because they want these kids to transfer before the second semester. I don't know. It just kind of feels like it's hurting the bowl games more and more. Some bulletin board material from Tennessee defensive back Andre Turrentine before the matchup at Ohio State next week in the playoffs. He was an Ohio State player and transferred to Tennessee in 2021, saying the shoe's not loud as the SEC, and the SEC built different. I mean, he just can't help himself, but I feel like this. When does this ever turn out well? Any time you see a player from an opposing team or whatever calling out a fan base and that kind of stuff, I feel like it's a recipe for disaster, and Tate's been all over it, going after the Tennessee fan base, which is always an easy target on Twitter because, to say the least, they kind of cause some problems more than most fan bases. I'll give Tennessee's fan base credit; they're ruthless on Twitter. They're one of the best to do it. I mean, I've certainly had a few issues with them as well. Getting ready. So one thing I want to comment on, too, is the SEC a basketball league now. Last night, Arkansas beat Michigan in Jimmy V Classic. Tennessee beat Miami. 9 of the top 25 teams now from the SEC. John Rothstein even saying it might be a 10-bid league. So it's like the everything conference, even though they only got 3 teams in the college football playoff, which is kind of a little bit crazy to me. I still have a little bit of a problem with that. All right, getting to the playoff thing. Been breaking down odds, draft. Obviously we're DraftKings partners. Always happy to get into the odds. I just still can't get over, and I talked about this yesterday, and I just can't get over the way this draw is broken out. Because I get the conference champions get the auto bids. So you've got Boise at 3 and Arizona State at 4. But who are the biggest beneficiaries of this? It's Penn State and Notre Dame. And it feels like Oregon got freaking punished for being the 1 seed. They go undefeated, and now they got to play the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee in the Rose Bowl, and then probably Texas in the semis. That pocket of the bracket with Oregon, Ohio State, Tennessee, Texas, and even Clemson is so much harder than the other side. It's like a joke. And Penn State loses the Big Ten championship game and might as well, they got rewarded. They play SMU at home as an 8.5-point favorite, and then they get Boise in the quarters. The early line on Penn State Boise is like Penn State by 11.5. It's just crazy how it all worked. And, I think there's going to be a fix next year. Hopefully with the conference champion rule, just if you win your conference championship, you get in the playoffs. That's totally fine. I got no problem with that. My problem is with the 3 and the 4 seed and the bye thing. And, you look at the odds, DraftKings tells it all. Boise State's the 3 seed, and they're 65-1 to win the title. Arizona State's the 4 seed, they're 60-1. That's freaking crazy to be the 3 and the 4 seed, and it just shows you how wrong it is. And, also yesterday I wrote a blog about this too, and it's just a precedent set by this playoff committee of it's about not losing. And, you look at SMU and Indiana and the seasons they had, they both lost one regular season game, but no top 25 wins. And, why will anybody from the SEC ever play a tough non-conference game again? Miami, Florida, week 1. Georgia, Clemson, week 1. LSU, USC, Notre Dame, A&M. All that's going to be gone because all that matters is only losing 2 games. Clearly, if you lose 3, you're out. That's what the precedent they set. So why would anybody risk anything non-conference? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and I think it's bad for the sport. Looking at a lot of these first-round games, I've had a chance to do a deep dive on it. And when you look at the 4 games, what team has the best chance of possible first-round upset? And that was something, I kind of did some digging. I actually asked Brandon Walker a minute ago what he thought about it. When you look at the 4, you look at the point spreads, you got Texas 11.5 over Clemson, Notre Dame 7.5 over Indiana, Ohio State 7.5 over Tennessee, kind of gone down to 7 in some spots, and Penn State 8.5 over SMU. And Walker said this, and I kind of am starting to agree. He said, I actually think Clemson might have the best shot because they're coming in here playing with house money. They've been here before in the playoffs. They won the ACC championship, even though they got 3 losses. Texas, I feel like I see some problems in the ranks. The offense especially, not a great running game. Quinn Ewers looks a little inconsistent. I think Clemson's got a shot to fight them, and Clemson's also 55-1. So maybe a look there, possibly because they have a shot to beat Texas. Looking at the transfer portal stuff, a lot of news in college football right now. As I said, the portal wide open. Mississippi State quarterback Michael Van Buren's going to transfer out. A lot of talk of will Oklahoma quarterback Jackson Arnold end up in Starkville. I know he's looking at Auburn as well, but Jeff Lebby, Mississippi State's head coach, did recruit him to Oklahoma, so it makes sense maybe to reunite in Starkville. That's one to watch. Tulane quarterback Dario Mintza has hit the portal as well. John Summerall staying at Tulane so big, but I'm curious to see where Mintza ends up. Other quarterbacks to watch in the portal, Miller Moss of USC is gone. Curious where he goes. Also, Connor Wegman of A&M is gone, but it's just crazy, this portal thing. It's so wild to see what college football has become. Some other top guys to watch, Singleton, the receiver from Georgia Tech, ranked the top player in the portal. Ahmad Hardy from UL Monroe, the running back, is at the portal. I think Ole Miss has a good shot at him. We're about to be joined by Tyler Moody here in a second as well.
I'm ready to go. What's up, man? I'm here. Sorry about that.
There he is.
What's up? Good morning. Good morning. How we doing, brother? He literally told me that he had gotten up and checked the damn microphones and everything, and he lied to me, chat. He lied to me, straight up, bold face lied.
How we doing this morning, Mr. Moody? I swore I checked the mics before too.
You swore to me. You told me I checked the mics. I checked.
I did. I guess I saw the one that. I guess I told you.
I'm
lies.
good. I'm doing all right this morning. I'm a little bit tired, and I'll tell you why I'm tired in just a minute. But I want you to think of something real quick. I want you to think of the nerdiest shit that you do. Okay, like the thing that you're like, damn, I'm a nerd for doing that. So try and think of something real quick, and I'm gonna tell you mine. Because last night I stayed up until like 4 a.m. playing a game called Out of the Park Baseball, where you manage a baseball team. It's like a 100% simulation manager game that's been around for like 30 years apparently. And I stayed up until like 4 a.m. playing this nerdy ass baseball.
So were you like game. A GM, or were you like a G? Like what is?
You're
what
a
is
GM.
It?
You draft your players. You have your minor leagues. You bring your guys up. I mean, it's like it is very detailed, but it is nerdy as shit, and I love it. And it is by far, I think, the nerdiest thing that I do. But I stayed up until literally 3:30 last night playing baseball, being a freaking nerd. So I'm curious.
That sounds kind of fun. I wish you could be like a baseball GM. Nerdiest thing I do.
I would fight my grandma to be a Major League Baseball GM, like straight up. I do damn near anything. I think that's one of the coolest jobs you could have is being a GM of your favorite sport.
I think that's fair. Nerdiest thing I do. Do you consider online poker nerdy?
I don't really consider that too nerdy because I think that's hyper competitive. Honestly, I think poker is one of the most competitive things you can do actually from a mental aspect.
Okay, I think the nerdiest thing I do is like going through all the old like set lists of like Panic shows. Probably
That's
just
pretty nerdy.
nerding out, like looking at all that. I think that's pretty.
nerdy.
I think that's pretty nerdy. Also, I mean, I'll just like stare at point spreads and like do deep dives and all that. But I mean, I think that's competitive as well.
Yeah,
I'd say that's another thing that I'd look at. I'd look at on that front.
I was just curious. That's what my dumbass was doing last night. So chat's got something that they want you to do today, and I think this is reasonable. I think you can do it, and I think it's a great thing for us to do right now.
All right,
They
what
want you to recite the ABCs backwards without stopping. See how fast you can.
Okay.
Do it. And then I'll tell you what. If you can beat me in doing it, I'll Venmo you $100 after this.
I don't think I can beat you.
Yeah, go for it because I can do this really quick. So go for it.
ZYXWVUTSRQPONMLKJIHFEDCBA.
There you go.
Did I get it right?
You got it right, I think. And did he miss anything, Chad? I think you got it right there. ZYXWVUTSRQPONMLKJIHGFDEDCBA. There you go.
You were faster, but
That was
good
faster.
effort. You were faster.
Yeah, good effort.
Good effort.
I practiced that whenever I was in college in case I ever got pulled over by a cop. So they're like, stand on one foot and say your ABCs backwards. I practiced that shit.
You practiced that in case you got pulled over?
Practice that shit because we drank and drive way more than we probably should have.
Yeah, don't do that. That was it was different era than before the Ubers though.
Don't do that.
No, but it was a different era.
Oh, dude, I had a buddy one time get pulled over right in front of the cops. He tossed, like, as the cop was getting ready to walk up to the car, he tossed a one-hitter and a beer out the window on the other side, hit the ground. Cop didn't hear it or anything. Passed the sobriety test, came back later and grabbed the one-hitter right after the cop left. I mean, there's a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah, well, nowadays, like with the Uber, that was before the Uber thing. I remember like those college towns, it would be hard to avoid back in the day. But now with the Uber, it's like there's really like no excuse. Say Uber.
Do not drink and drive, guys. Don't do it. It's retarded. I mean, it's dumb. Please don't do it. Like it's foolish. Don't do it.
No. No good. No good. But Moody, good job on your backwards. That's hilarious that you practiced that just in case you got caught that got pulled over. That no wonder you knew. I was like, why is he bringing this up? But hopefully chat
respects. Well, I didn't bring it up. That was from chat. That's from our boy Raciti over there. So shout out to the chat. Chat, if you got anything else for us today, let us know. We're about it over here.
I got a few questions for you. We're hitting fantasy playoffs this week too. All right, we mentioned this yesterday. Do you think Josh Allen's a lock for NFL MVP? Or do you think Saquon's got a shot? Josh Allen's minus 400 right now on DraftKings.
I wouldn't say he's a lock because he could get hurt next week, and that could obviously kind of fall apart. So I wouldn't put him in the lock category just yet, but I think he is highly, highly, highly deserving. And I don't think that there is anything that Saquon can do, I mean, unless he runs for 200 plus every single game from here on out, to pass Josh Allen. Like, I don't think it's going to happen. The MVP awards become such a quarterback award, and Josh Allen is right now the best quarterback in football.
Yeah, I think the year he's had, considering and I know Diggs is older now, but, you know, they kind of revamped a lot in Buffalo, and they went into the year without, like, a loaded receiving core, and I don't know, just super, super impressive. I'd agree. I mean, the first NFL player with 3 touchdowns passing and 3 rushing last week in a game. That's just like a crazy, crazy stat. All right, I got some rapid-fire NFL questions today. I did a deep dive on some division stuff. Who the hell is going to win the NFC West? What you laughing at?
I kind of like the Rams to win the NFC West. I really do. I think they're from an offensive standpoint, they're the best offense in that division right now. I mean, I think they have maybe the most They probably have the most defensive flaws, though. But Matthew Stafford has been there, done that guy. You look at the other two teams in Seattle and Arizona, I just don't think their quarterbacks have done that yet. Like Murray's had some good games, but when has he ever actually won anything? And the same thing could kind of be said for Geno Smith, right? Like these dudes are good. They're above average quarterbacks. Their teams are playing really well right now. I just don't see either one of them outlasting Matthew Stafford down the stretch here. So I think I've got the Rams winning the NFC West, and it's probably just my belief in Matthew Stafford more than anything else.
Well, it's interesting because Seattle 8-5, Rams 7-6, Niners and Arizona both 6-7. But the Rams beat the Seahawks already in their first matchup, so they actually control their own destiny. Obviously, Puka going off last week. Rams at Niners Thursday night, fascinating game. Niners a 2.5-point favorite that'll decide a lot of it. But I don't know that the Niners in Arizona are totally out of it. The Niners thing's tough, though, because they've lost a bunch of division games on the tiebreaker front. So they're kind of, they have to really, really come back because they have head-to-head losses to all three of them already.
Right now, the Rams are plus one. Seattle's minus 120. The Rams plus 160. Arizona 9-1. And San Francisco 18-1. Is that something that you thought you would see at any point this season? The 49ers 18-1 to win their own division.
No, and I thought like there was after they were kind of struggling after week 5 or 6, they were like plus 110, and I thought it was good value. But they've been just crushed by the injury bug though. No Bosa, no Trent Williams, Ayuk, and then I think Purdy's been hurt. They looked better last week at home against Chicago, and then obviously the McCaffrey thing has just been a huge thing and gutted them this year. And so it just kind of feels like they're having a lost year. The Rams thing, though, is very interesting because last year they were 6-6 at this point and got hot and went 10-7, lost a close game to the Lions first round of the playoffs. It kind of feels similar. And you just McVay, Puka and Kupp both went down at the beginning, and he was able to just kind of somehow find a way to get through it. And now all of a sudden, they may be turning it up a little bit. So I'm curious to see if they've got – I think they definitely have a shot. NFC South, who you got, Atlanta or Tampa? Tampa now leading it.
Oh, man, I don't think either one of them's really worthy, but they're both awful defensively. They're both great offenses, and their defenses suck. And right now, for Atlanta, Kirk Cousins is taking a small step back here, so that's kind of an issue. I think I'm probably leaning to Tampa Bay, but I don't think either one of them are. This is kind of the same old story for the NFC South that we've been watching for the last 10 years.
Tampa's won it. Tampa's won it.
Well, besides the Brady year. Yeah, but whoever the NFC South winner is, they're barely good. You know what I mean? We've seen teams sneak in at 7-9 in the past with the Saints back in the day. You know what I mean? This division is back in that time where they don't have a dominant leader. And I do think Tampa's probably the best, but it's not something I'm confident in saying.
Yeah, I kind of think Tampa's going to win it too. They got the lead now. The problem is Atlanta's got the tiebreaker on them, beat them twice. But you brought something up, Moody. Do you think Cousins gets benched here at some point for Penix? Because the Cousins thing, obviously he came in off the torn Achilles. He's 35. He had a bad week 1, but then he got it together and got hot. But, man, he's looked very shaky the last few weeks since taking a hit in week 10 against the Saints. And I feel like they may be hiding something. And I'm curious if he has another bad week. They're at Vegas this week. If they lose at Vegas, I feel like they may go to Penix.
He would have to play really bad. He would have to be the reason that they lose this week. Turn it over a couple times and just play really poor football. That's the thing. They're not winning games right now, but it's not like he's playing atrocious. He's not out there he didn't have some 3-pick game or anything. I don't think so.
Well, no, that Chargers game 2 weeks ago. He had 4. He had 4 against the Chargers 2 weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I don't know. I just don't think that. I think it's tough to bench him when you gave him the money. That's the biggest thing here if you're Atlanta. You gave him serious money. I understand Penix is possibly the guy moving forward, but unless Cousins just falls apart, I don't know.
All right. My other one is in AFC North, okay? Hear me out. Pittsburgh's 10-3, Baltimore's 8-5. Pittsburgh, George Pickens looks like he's going to be out a little bit. Pittsburgh's got at Philly, KC, and Cincy next 3. Still has at Baltimore on the schedule. Do the Ravens still have a chance to run them down, being 2 back? Pittsburgh does have the first head-to-head win, but the last game they do play at Baltimore. I feel like Baltimore still has a shot here.
Yeah, Baltimore still has a chance. I think Pittsburgh's just playing really good football right now. They're a tough out, man. They're a really tough out because they beat you defensively first, and then Russell Wilson's playing good enough football offensively to not lose them games. So I don't know. I think Pittsburgh is the favorite, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I think the story, you look at like the stories of the year in the NFL, and there's obviously a ton of them, but the Russell Wilson comeback to me is unbelievable. I mean, I thought like everybody thought he was done after Sean Payton canned him in Denver, and he's been so much better than anybody could have imagined for Pittsburgh. I mean, they're scoring points. They're finding a way even without Pickens last week, and I don't know. That's just an incredible story. And Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator, deserves a ton of credit, but I didn't see that coming. I'm not going to lie.
In the last 4, this shows how much I've been paying attention to Atlanta games. In the last 4 games, Kirk has thrown 0 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. That is awful. I didn't realize it was that bad. That is bench worthy. I'll be honest. I had no clue that it was that damn bad. Appreciate it, D's, because that's rough, boys.
Well, yeah. Well, I heard a thing on Bet the Board podcast I listened to with Todd Furman and them that are friends of the program, and they were talking about how Cousins in Week 10 against the Saints, he took this shot in the third quarter to his elbow and shoulder, and then he was like on the injury report the next week for 2 days, but then they yanked him off it, and then he had a terrible game at Denver where they lost like 38-6, and he got benched in the fourth. Then off the bye, he threw 4 picks against the Chargers. He looked a little better against Minnesota, but I don't know. I just feel like he may be playing hurt here. Just seems like
it's possible because he started off so well, and the regression has definitely hit here. 8 interceptions in the last 4 games is atrocious.
Yeah, it is.
So we got a couple things from chat here. First off, can we get a confirmation that Rizzle is your vote for Saints head coach? What do you think right now of the Saints, what they should do?
Okay, so look, the thing is, Dan Rizzi, I mean, he's a fiery guy, and I know he's 3-1 now, which is crazy.
And the team's playing hard.
The team's playing hard. I still am just not. I don't know. The only way, somebody brought this up on Twitter, if you can hire Robert Saleh as defensive coordinator with Kubiak as OC and him as head coach, I could deal with it because I think it's like all about your coordinators when you have a guy like this. But I still don't know. I don't know. It's kind of just a terrible situation no matter what because Derek Carr is out now for the year. And, they got to go with Hainer or Rattler. I don't know if Carr's the future. I mean, I kind of feel like it's a start-over spot. So I'm not totally convinced yet, even though he is a likable, fiery guy. And they do – you said it, Moody. They play hard for him. But I kind of feel like it's like an interim kind of situation. What do you think?
Yeah, it's just it's tough to give a special teams coach the reins of your entire football team. It's very rare that you see these special teams guys take over as head coaches and have tons of success. Yeah, there's definitely examples, but I mean, I don't know. It's tough for me to say, hey, I'm going to invest my future in a special teams guy as the leader of this team. He has to be a great motivator and he has to have great coordinators. And if the Saints don't have the great coordinators, I just don't think it's going to work.
I still think Kubiak's a good OC, even with the offense struggling. They're just out of bodies. I really do. I think he's a good
shit, bro.
Dude, I mean, they don't have anybody out there. And so other than Alvin Kamara, it's literally just, I mean, like it was no Shaheed, no Olave, no Taysom. I mean, no Derek Carr. It's just, they're out of guys. Oh, I've got an interesting stat for you this week, deep diving. First time in like 40-something weeks, the Carolina Panthers are favored in a football game. 40-something games.
Who are they playing this week? I haven't even looked at the board.
Your Dallas Cowboys in Carolina. Carolina's 2.5. First time they've been favored in like 3 seasons. I thought that was a wild stat.
So embarrassing. That really is a wild stat. And the fact that it's the Cowboys is laughably good, honestly. That's just Jerry Jones deserves that. Cowboys fans don't deserve it. Probably some of them do, actually, because they're Yankees fans too. But, it's embarrassing. They might lose this game. They really might genuinely lose to the Panthers because the Panthers are not playing terrible football right now.
No, they impressed me. I actually thought that they were going to have a regression game at Philly last week, and they almost won. And, the Bryce Young thing, I mean, he looks like an NFL quarterback. So you got to give Dave Canales credit. They're fighting. I don't know. Definitely improved a lot. That's certainly not the best game on the board this week. We got a couple really good ones this week. The fantasy one to watch, Buffalo at Detroit, Moody.
Mm-hmm.
Over under 55 in that one off that shootout the Rams and Bills just played, that 86-pointer. But that's a 3 o'clock game. That's a really fun one. And then Pittsburgh at Philly. 3:00,
Yeah,
3:25 as well.
that's a hell of a game right there. That's the one that I really want to see this week. Both teams are. We've been talking about it. Like two of the teams you just do not want to run into right now. I think that's going to be a fascinating matchup, and it's a great litmus test game for both teams because it could be. I'm not saying it will be, but it could be a potential Super Bowl matchup. It's a great spot for both teams to kind of figure out where they're at, and obviously a great rivalry there within the state.
I know it's kind of one of those things they don't play every year because the AFC NFC thing. But man, I feel like do you think it would be fun if the NFL had like a rivalry week thing where just like you had like one natural rival in the AFC you played and like Pittsburgh Philly be obvious, New York Giants, New York Jets, super obvious. The Rams and Chargers being the two LA teams, Baltimore and Commanders, Cowboys, Texans. I mean, I feel like it wouldn't be for everyone, but what's up?
Saints, Cowboys.
Well, they're in the same NFC. I think it'd have to be cross NFC, AFC, but I think it would be fun if the NFL had one, traditional like opponent kind of deal. I don't know. I think
that'd be good. It would have the New York teams playing each other, right? That's one of the big things here. You could get Vegas and LA playing one another, possibly kind of setting some things up like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm excited for that Pittsburgh Philly game. Also, some other. I mean, those are probably the matchups I'm most excited about this week. Also excited. I'm headed for the DraftKings World Championship in Nashville this weekend, and so looking forward to seeing what that's all about. Some of the top DFS players in the world playing for millions of dollars on Sunday. That should be a hell of a thing to see. I'm certainly not one of those, but got to have a lot of respect for those top DFS guys, dude. It's crazy. It's a tough world, man.
I will say, I am number one for the season in the pardon my take AWL DFS league. I'm number one, so I don't know if that counts for anything, but I will stake my claim as maybe being the best DFS player around here. I'm not confident in saying that, but I feel pretty damn good about it. By the way, chat said you need to earn some time. They think that because you lied to me earlier about your headset that you need to earn.
I lied.
Time. So what do we
I
have
didn't lie. That was not a lie. That was
you,
a mis. I did check it. I thought the 7. I saw the 1 through 6 on it. I don't know.
What's the difference? All right, define for me the difference between a lie and a misunderstanding. Then
a lie is a misunderstanding is not intentional.
Okay, all right.
I think it's an intentional thing. I think it's an intentional thing. That's my thoughts. Just me personally. What do they?
Chad said Mint's traveling again this weekend.
No, it's for work. It's for work. It's for work. No, they can say that.
You said I'm not going anywhere for the next 2 weekends, and then you were in New Orleans. Now you're over here like making moves.
But hey, to tape a Barstool show in New Orleans, and this is for DraftKings in Nashville. It's for work. The traveling, if it's for work, it's okay. That's my thoughts. It's work or wedding, it's okay. That's my call.
What do you have for us? Do you have anything you can give to chat that's maybe like a special talent of yours?
Special talent. I'm trying to think. Let me see how long. I'm gonna see how many push-ups do you think I can do in a row without stopping. What do you think the chat puts that number at?
Let's set the over-under.
Set an over-under. I'm gonna do push-ups till I burn out. What do you think the over-under is? I think I got it at like 20. I think I can do like 20. What do you think?
I got you at 13 and a half.
13 and a half. 20 is probably
13 and a half is my number.
13 and a half is your number? A half. What's a half a push-up?
Well, I'm saying like that. I'm setting your over-under here, 13 and a half.
Okay, so you're saying 13 or 13 or 14.
Yeah, I don't know if you.
I'm curious. I know my body type is like a little rough for the push-ups, but I don't know. My form's kind of not the best though.
All right, well, zoom your camera out and let's see what you got. Chat's going to go ahead and they'll give us their
analysis.
They'll give us their estimates here in a second. Yeah. Right. John says 7. D's is on 20. I got him set at 13 and a half for the over-under. I think that's a very reasonable number here. Hang on, let me switch cameras. Can you zoom your camera down some? You can't hear me. 1,
Put him
2.
out more.
Yeah. This guy. Tilt it down. You can. Well, I'm gonna count those first 2 for you. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This angle's hilarious. 15, 16, 17. I hate that I can't see how far down he's going. 18, 19, 20, 21. It just looks like he's humping the ground. 22.
How do we do, Moody?
I got you at 22 right there.
Yeah.
That was a very solid effort. That was a solid effort.
I beat the over-under.
You smashed the over-under, in fact.
No.
I had you at 13.5. I thought you were going to gas out pretty quickly. I was wrong about that.
My forms could be better.
We were having trouble seeing how far down you were going. So
I
Guinness
tried to
World Book of
expand the
Records
camera out
won't be able to confirm, but
so it's God. I don't see how Jerry does it on Jerry After Dark, man.
What's Jerry's record? How many did he do?
I don't know about push-ups, but he threw 1,000 pitches last night. He had to do like 4 immaculate innings, and he couldn't get the 4th done. He threw over 1,000 pitches. His arm must be feeling like it's going to fall off today.
Dude, that's insane, by the way.
I mean, I know he was kind of lobbing some.
Yeah, that's tough, though. 1,000 pitches, bro. It's a ton.
It's like a season.
He's going to have crazy lactic acid build up today. Like, he probably won't be able to move his arm.
I believe it. No, I believe it. That was the beginning of Jerry After Dark season 2. God, I'm out of breath. Whew. But good effort. That was a good effort, though, right?
It was a great effort. No, we can't confirm because we couldn't quite see how far down you were going. But from what we could see, we're going to give you credit because it looked like you were definitely giving it your best effort. So
it's hard to get credit from the chat. So.
It's hard to get credit from the chat for damn sure. But I'll give it to you. I'm going to give it to you on that one.
Sorry, I'm breathing so hard in the mic. Whew. Man, hurt.
Oh, by the way, I saw somebody earlier. They want you to say, this is Kelly Clarkson.
Why?
I have no idea.
I just give me a read. If they say it, like, give me a read. I don't understand.
I don't either. I'm just going.
I don't either. I need to hear. I need to get the reference. I got to get the reference. Okay. That's my problem. All right, a couple other things I want to hit here before we get out of here. Few games this weekend. Oh, man, Moody, you said like everybody's getting ready for fantasy playoffs. I know that's going to be huge. Do you think Jaden Daniels can go off against the Saints in New Orleans? I have some concerns.
Yes, I do think Jaden Daniels can go off. I actually think this is going to be the reemergence kind of Jaden Daniels. Played great early, took a small step back. He's kind of hit plateaued a little bit. I think he's going to have a monster week against the Saints. I think he balls out here, and I think he kind of starts to going back on that upward trend here towards the back of the season because I think Washington is probably the most underrated team in the NFL right now. What they've done defensively this year has been very impressive. I think offensively they know who they are now. And coming off this bye, I think they're going to start to play some really good football. And they're a team that's going to be scary down the stretch.
Do you think him or Bo Nix wins Rookie of the Year? Because I think the Denver versus Commanders thing is an interesting debate. I know you're a Bo Lever.
I'm a Bo Lever. Dude, the crazy thing is they're both they're almost the same story here. Like you get a head coach who comes in, implements their system, gets their guy, and their team is taking off. They took 2 awful defenses and they turned them into pretty solid defenses. Like this is a very similar story. Very similar story.
Both playoff wild cards when they weren't expected to be.
Yeah, and the thing is, the trend is a little bit different for both quarterbacks, right? Like you had the early season explosion for Jaden Daniels. He's kind of trended down since then. Bo Nix on the opposite trajectory. Played awful to start the year, and now he's been the one that's kind of taken off here. So I would say I'd rather be Bo Nix than.
I'd agree. I'd rather be Nix at this point too. I just think the year. If you'd, I mean, I believe in Sean Payton so much that I'd ultimately give Nix the buffer here. Denver's 8-5 too. They're 2 up on the final wild card spot in the AFC. Will be interesting to see though. They've got after Indy this week. Their schedule gets like brutal tough down the stretch. All right, thanks, Stella Blue, dude. Wipes, appreciate it.
Couple questions here.
Okay.
Lisa wants to know if you will go with her to her formal. So that's one that you can think about.
That one's going to be tough. I don't know that I can agree to that. Thank you for asking, though. I got asked on a formal date on the show. I got to say thank you, Lisa. I'm kind of honored. That's a first. I'm just glad we got women fans.
They also want you to call in to Mayo's show.
I'd love to do that. The problem is the thing. Okay, so the thing with Mayo, they're talking about Devin Snow's show. Dude, it's hard to call in because the line's busy so much because it's so big. But I will do it. I will do. I love Devin Snow and his show. His post game shows. Oh man, he's like the new Buddy D and Nola. I will call into his show.
And they also want, at some point, they've been calling for it. I saw it in the chat. They want it's 6 degrees outside today. So today would be a perfect day to do it. They want a parking lot apology video from you. You don't have to just go set your phone up somewhere. They're asking for it.
Okay. We'll come up with something from the parking lot.
You don't have to do it in show. I'm saying you could go.
Yeah, we'll come up with some kind of a video from the parking lot. Okay.
He's ducking you, chat. He's ducking.
No, I'm not ducking. I do parking lot. I was told no more apologies up here. So, that I got to come up with something from the parking lot, but it's got to be creative.
All
right.
That's fair.
Okay. Still Blue. Shout out. Stay warm. It's 6 freaking degrees in Chicago. Moody, you cold in Louisiana? It ain't that bad, huh?
Oh, it's like 40 degrees. It's not terrible. I've definitely had a lot worse going on.
Dude, it's going to be 6 degrees tonight, man. It's going to be tough. This is going to be a long, long winter. But luckily, we got Stella Blue to keep us warm. We got Dude Wipes to clean up our messes. Let's have a hell of a day. Check out Surviving Barstool if you missed last night, episode 4. Episode 5 airing tonight. Let's have a hell of a day, boys. Thank you. Man, I love fall. Leaves are changing, football, and Stella Blue coffee. And this season, maple pumpkin pie. But my morning routine would not be complete without Dumpkin Spice Dude Wipes.
Oh, Mintzy, let it rip.
Cheers, furry fellas. Coffee that fuels you, wipes that clean you.